Whoa, buddy. Put that thing...
One for each of you.
Firearms Friday.
Thomas Jefferson stated, "It is the right and duty of
Firearms shall not be infringed. Firearms.
From my cold, dead hands.
Friday.
Dedicated to the Second Amendment and to firearms talk, gun rights, firearms laws, pretty much everything else that we want to talk about. Welcome to the program, and thanks for coming in and joining us this morning. Just another beautiful day. Beautiful day in paradise here. A little cooler as cold weather is going to start to hit across parts of the state today. Going into the weekend, maybe we'll continue to have a white Christmas. I can't tell. Weekly Thursday to hang out and talk to you. Favorite Michael top would be, again, guns and firearms laws and rights. Coming up on today's program, it's going to be just me and you. Was working on some guests, but that didn't pan out, so that's okay. It's just you and me hanging out, doing our thing, enjoying life and everything else. We're right be part of this whole Firearms Friday situation, where we get a chance to talk about these things today. So we're going to open up some talk a little bit about the history of the Second Amendment itself. We're going to dive into that, and more and some more stuff. It's going to be fun. We're going to finish up the show today, as always, every Friday with Willie Waffle from wafflemovies.com, who will come in and join us, and we will be talking about the weekend movies and the streams and some entertainment news and just, kind of a little bit of a lighter side chat for everything out there. First and foremost, let me be the first to say welcome to the first day of December. And that means we are counting down now 19 days till we will be on vacation from December 20th all the way through. I always take that week because let's face it, there's nothing going on in the news or the world or the politics. I mean, there's just no breaking news that can matter. Nobody wants to talk to you between Christmas and New Year's, right? I started taking that time off, I don't know, probably so that'll be going on. So the 20th, also on the 20th, we will be announcing the winner of the holiday recipe. It's gonna be the holiday recipe contest winner. You could participate in that if you'd like. The holiday recipe contest is going on right now over on Facebook at facebook.com/Michael Duke Show. Just go, or you can go to michaeldukeshow.com and click on the Facebook link. And in the comment section, you just drop your favorite family recipe. It's simple. It's easy. It's perfect. Go off with you. Fly, be free. Put up your favorite family that we can't wait for, or maybe it's the recipe that you only make once a year. It just makes it that special. All you got to do is go over there, post with smart recipe, which is for bourbon caramel popcorn, which just sounds delicious. And then he went out and he posted that to all of his friends and said, "Please go vote for me." And a bunch of them did. Bill's up to 20 something votes. I put up I can't win, but I put up my grandmother's pumpkin pie recipe, my grandma Faye's pumpkin pie recipe, which it's just it's it's delicious, and I just love sharing it with people. I love to /Michael Duke Show, and we'll and put your recipe up on today. And it's an interesting. There's a lot of interesting discussion now. We're going to talk a little bit about Dr. John Lott, who who just wrote an article here recently, and he actually, excuse me, he actually sent it to me over Thanksgiving, and we were talking back and forth about it, and I wanted to get him on the program. Maybe next week we can bring him on to discuss this in greater detail. But he's got a new article out over at America's First Freedom that that tells that tells you that there's a lot of reasons why you can't trust government agencies for a variety of reasons. And the current info that he's pulling up talks about the FBI, and it's, although we see weaponized and they went after Trump, or they did this or they did that, we hear all these stories. What he's talking about specifically, the UCR, the Uniform Crime Report, right? And he talks about how that data, and he talks about how by skewing the data, it gives ammunition to people who are after your Second Amendment rights. And because they failed to correct inaccuracies in that, it continues on. I mean, this is a great article from John Lott over at America's First Freedom. We're going to dissect that a little bit today. We're also um, uh, over at Bearing Arms, where he's going to talk. He talks about the original meaning of the Second Amendment and how that's been twisted today, but how because they went through the German American translations of the Second Amendment, you can discern from that the original public meaning of it. It's a fascinating piece, and this is going to take a whole segment to go through. But it's going to be well worth it because it really dives down into the meaning of well-regulated and the people and many other things and about the definition or the the actual meaning of the Second Amendment and everything else. If you ever had any thoughts on that and discussions, this is going to give it to you right here. This is going to line some of that stuff out. And so we're going to talk about that as well. We also see a lot of the talk and the verbiage about how guns they call it gun violence, but they seem to keep dropping the violence part. And they're saying guns are an epidemic, that they're a public health emergency. It's just because it's not the case. That is absolutely not the case. We'll discuss that throughout. And then there's this brand new gun bill, which is called I love these catchy titles and headlines. The Go Safe Act. The Go Safe. We're going to dive down into what that actually means and everything else. But one of the biggest problems with this act is that it affects, so many different things. The Firearms Policy Coalition had a Go Safe Act is one of the most aggressive rights violations. Many communes are be banned. Self-built firearms will be banned. And many self-modifications will be banned. Standard capacity magazine will be banned. Our message to Senator Angus King, I can't even read what the rest of it says on the radio because it's basically screw you. No. So we're going to talk about it. Now, it really doesn't have any it really doesn't have any steam. It doesn't have any power to go anywhere. So we'll talk about that, and we're gonna dive through. The bottom line is that this entire thing openly defies, according to the National Shooting Sports Foundation, the general counsel and vice president of the National Shooting Sports Foundation, Larry Keane. This bill is openly defiant of the Constitution. That it just openly, blatantly, flies right in the face of what Brune has decided and the Supreme Court and everything else, but not that that's ever doing it. Not that it's ever stopped him. All right, we're going to continue here. We're up against I'll go ahead and open up the phone lines right now. No, let me do it on the other side. I'll do it on the other side. That'll be better. We'll open up the phone lines, take your calls, see what you guys got to say. We'll be back with more. Don't go anywhere. Common sense, liberty-based, free thinking radio. Back with more after this.
Running on 100% pure beard coffee. We dip our beard in coffee.
Ha, nice beard.
The Michael Duke Show.
Hey, I don't know what's going on, copy on my end even. Uh, 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 um, and it says my internet is struggling. Apparently, GCI is not great, man. I just refreshed everything and looking tough. I don't know if that's any better, but I don't know. It's Friday, man. It's Friday. The stream is up and running, the audio only stream. So if you want to turn off the audio on Facebook, you're not even getting music. Oof. I'm not blinking. Solar storm. I don't know. I don't know what the issue is. There's no music even. That's disturbing. That is disturbing. I could hear the music. If you want to be part of it, we'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Just feel free to give us a call and dial up, and let's continue on. All right, so I was teasing it earlier. I wanted to talk about it. This is an excellent article. This is from 15 days ago from Rajit Singh over at Bearing Arms. And the title of the article is "A Well-Regulated Militia." German translation of the Second Amendment offers insights. And it really is a fantastic look at the Second Amendment from what I consider to be a completely different perspective. Now, we hear it a lot. We hear it a lot from various sources about how the Second Amendment was not written for our day. Second Amendment was, it was meant to be, only for the militia. It's not for we the people. It was for the National Guard. And that the term well-regulated is a term that means, that they can have control, that the regulations are, that they can take those rights away via regulation. Now, if you've looked at the writings of the day, if you've looked at the contemporary writings of the founders and everything else, you understand that is exactly not what they were intending. But I mean, that the term well-regulated, that the term regulated meant something totally different in context, especially in this context, versus many other things. Regulated didn't necessarily mean regulation. It meant trained. It meant, anyway, there's a whole lot of different stuff on there. We know that it's not dependent on being in a militia. We know that the right extends to modern. That whole argument, I've always laughed at that whole argument. Oh, it's about muskets. You should only have a musket. Well, then you should only have a quill and a piece of parchment. You should only have handbills and other things. I mean, it's an insane thing. But it's crazy. It's crazy. All right. So we're going to dive into that. And, but something happened. Something broke this morning. I don't know. There was some kind of technical glitch, and it's thrown us all off into a tailspin. And I just realized that we didn't go to commercial break anywhere. So we might need to, we might want to do that, here in just a second, because, hey, we got to pay some bills around here. The only way to go is forward, apparently, but we need to pay the bills and keep things rolling. All right. So we're going to keep things, moving on here, and we're going to keep going, and we'll talk about this. So here's where it comes down to: a well-outfitted militia, the German-American translation of the Second Amendment, and the original public meaning. This is an academic paper published in the American Journal of Legal History by Brandon Kinney. And in his introduction, he said, this article seeks to uncover the original public meaning of the Second Amendment by scrutinizing unusual and previously unexamined sources, German-American translations of the Bill of Rights during the founding era. Translations offer a unique perspective of political culture because they served as thoughtful analysis and contextual commentary on the source of the text. Using 6 German-American translations in the founding era, this article that Kinney has written argues that the public understanding of the Second Amendment during the founding era was one that recognized the individual right to own firearms for individual use unconnected to militia service, as well as a constitutional endorsement of an armed population as the best bulwark to preserve liberty of the national people. Though the exact text of the translations differ across publishers and state, they retain thematic and syntactic similarities that suggest a public consensus over the meaning of the text. The notion that the Second Amendment protects an individual right rather than a collective one is borne out by additional translations well into the mid-19th century. Printers adjusted their translations of the amendment after the militia as a military institution had fallen into disuse, but preserved and strengthened the clause protecting the individual rights to arms rather than letting it fall silent. Now, this paper can be purchased online, but Rajit Singh, Bearing Arms, apparently did the heavy lifting for us and has got some great excerpts from this, which I think are just absolutely fascinating. Just absolutely fascinating. A comparison of the translation reveals three striking similarities. First, each utilizes the word Volk, V-O-L-K, Volk, like Volkswagen, Volk for the people, which by the Enlightenment had come to imply nationalist or political categories of people in secular documents. Second, each introduces a conjunction to the beginning of each clause, which taken together push the rhetorical emphasis to the second clause, the actual rights. Third, the majority of the text translates well regulated as wohl or gut eingerichtet, which meaning that the militia is well furnished, well outfitted, or well equipped, rather than being subjected to government oversight or disciplined in the contemporaneous nomenclature. Again, well trained, well disciplined, well regulated, well furnished, well outfitted. Given the numerous alternatives to translating the English text, the fact that these translations independently embraced these major elements suggests a consensus understanding of the amendment's context and of its meaning. After analyzing the interpretive similarities, Brandon Kinney goes on to say this research makes the following contentions. The original public meaning of the Second Amendment indicated an understanding of both an individual right to keep and bear arms, as well as a declarative statement on the militia that had no limiting effect on the individual right. Put another way, the first clause, the militia clause, does not create a condition for the second clause. Instead, it declares an axiom as understood by the framers. A well-established and well-outfitted militia, broadly defined as the entirety of the national populace, is necessary to securing a free state and free nation. To support this dictum, the amendment subsequently recognizes the individual right to keep and bear arms, because the militia is made possible by private arms rather than the other way around. With the publication of the Bill of Rights, the Constitution endorsed an armed citizenry as the best possible defense of a nation's liberties rather than making the individual ownership contingent on the continued use of a militia. Now, finally, Rajit finishes up this article talking about, how gun controllers like to repeat a quote from former Supreme Court Justice Warren Burger in support of their cute and creative collective rights theories. And about, they're talking about the regulation and the militia and the National Guard and all that stuff. Supreme Court Justice Warren Burger is quoted as saying, "The gun lobby's interpretation of the Second Amendment is one of the greatest pieces of fraud, I repeat the word fraud, on the American people by special interest groups that I have ever seen in my lifetime." But you see, that's not a legal opinion. That's a personal opinion. Burger's claims is nothing but an argument by assertion. Repeating it doesn't make it right nor true. You have to go back and again look at the foundational documents, look at the contemporary writings of the framers, and in this case, look at other interpretations of this exact same law contemporary to when it was being written and produced and being ratified. Brandon Kinney is very insightful and supports the voluminous existing evidence on the standards of the individual rights interpretation. This is a fantastic piece. I'm going to post this up. I'm going to post this up in the chat room right now for folks to take a look at it and see what you need to do. See what you need to do. We're going to continue to talk about this, but this is a great article. And if somebody wants to go out and buy the full paper on it, this full legal paper, send me a copy or buy it for me for Christmas. I don't know. It just seems like it's such a good piece. And it backs up what I have been saying for years, especially surrounding the word well-regulated. They seem to think that the only interpretation of the word regulated means regulation instead of well-trained or well-equipped or well-armed, well-disciplined. I mean, all the differing means of regulated, especially going back to the Noah Webster's, dictionary of the 1790s to understand what that's all about. It really is a great piece, and I love it. So we're going to share that and hopefully, I don't know, maybe people will start paying it. I don't know. Maybe people are going to pay attention. They don't want to dive down into it, but at least you now have a little bit more backing if you're having an argument or a discussion with somebody about the Second Amendment and they mouth off to you how it's about the National Guard and how it's not about the people, how it's not about a individual right, and how the fact that they said well-regulated means that what they can damn well make laws and rules to put on your rights like that. This was a stricture on government doing that exact thing. Just because they use the word regulated in there, it doesn't mean what you think. You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means. That's exactly what's going on with that. So now you have a little bit of a better information. But this article, again, is over at bearingarms.com from Ranjit Singh back from November 18th. Last month. I can't believe we're into December of last month, November 18th, the 18th of last month. This article is out there. A well-outfitted militia, German translation of the Second Amendment offers insight. You should all go read it. Ponder it, think about it, because this will help you in your discussions, in your advocacy for the Second Amendment, in your arguments with your friends, or I guess it's the holidays. It could be the arguments with your relatives over why you have to have that gun over the mantle if they come. Why would you even invite relatives to your house that were going to fight with you over that kind of stuff? I mean, come on, please. Don't even bother. All right, what else we got coming up? Well, we got this new law, the Go Safe Act, because if we don't name the bill something that sounds catchy, it doesn't make any sense. Well, this new bill, according to the National Shooting Sports Foundation, is openly defiant of the Constitution. And that just don't make no sense. So we're going to continue to talk about that, and we'll see what you guys have to say. We're coming up on the break right now, so we'll see if we can make sure we all actually go to commercial break this time. That's what we're working on. We'll be back with more of The Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free-thinking radio. We return with more right after this.
Running on 100% pure beard power. Oh, also some coffee. We dip our beard in coffee.
Ha, nice beard.
The Michael Duke Show.
Okay, we really did it. We really did it. We went all the way to commercial break. Yeah. So we did it that time. That's all good. Oof, what a hot mess. I don't know exactly what happened there, but something technical. But I guess you guys will have to tell me now. Is it back to normal now in the chat room? Is it all looking good? You guys have to let me know. Much better. You want to know what I did? I mean, my computer started to really act like weird. And I was like, what is going on? It was working fine 30 minutes ago. What? I killed Spotify in the background. It was in the background, turned off, but it was hanging out there, and I killed it. I killed it dead. Because I was listening to Chris's music before I got started. So it was one of those things. Okay. Well, everybody's going to miss one commercial break this morning, and I apologize to all those people out there, but we'll get her done. Okay, what else you guys want to chit-chat about here? What else are you guys talking about in the chat room? I loved this story. I love this story about the German translation. And it is it's just so good. But there's other ones out there still echoing. Your chair squeaks. Hear my chair? I'm echoing. That's odd. I don't even know, man. At some point it's like, this town needs an enema. Sometimes you just gotta, reboot everything, but I'm not going to reboot in the middle of the show. I mean, I have done that once or twice, but it is pucker inducing. Let's just put it that way. Because sometimes it takes more than 5 minutes and 55 seconds to get everything back up and running properly. Oh, it's only echoing for Brian. Echo. That's because there's a canyon in your ears. In between. Anyway, I can give Brian a little bit of a hard time. He's got a good sense of humor. It's all fine. Jennifer says, I don't hear anything wrong. She just tuned in. Well, why are you late? Where have you been? All right. What else we got? Jeannie's got a fire ripping I got the fire ripping before the furnace kicked in. Nice. You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. Much better. Robert said he saw Santa putting up Christmas decorations on the Kenai streetlights yesterday. Ooh. Teresa said she woke up in the wee hours of the morning and right away noticed that the internet was fading in and out over and over. That's weird. That's weird. Okay, but apparently now everybody can hear music and they can hear everything else and all that other stuff. So it was choppy. All right. Is it one too many days at the range not with hearing protection? Says Politidick. Maybe. Hold on just a second here. Hold on. Okay. Is it going to power fill to that point? It is. It's going to power fill to that point. Okay. I'm just looking at the radio station because I screwed some stuff up and I'm an idiot. So we'll get that scored away and see what happens. All right. We're about a minute and a half out from rejoining the radio right now. You guys could feel free to call us up this morning and talk about whatever you want to talk about regarding to, these stories, the firearms, the whatever. I'm going to delete that because I don't need it. I'd love to hear what you have to say on anything today. Fire started, dogs fed, feet up, settled in, Facebook page solved, blessings started already. Yeah, I'm glad you feel that way. Hey, don't forget that coming up at 8 a.m., right after the show, is the Alaska Radio Auction. All right, welcome back to the program. It's Friday. Boy, TGIFF, right? Or in our case, TGIFFF. Thank goodness it's finally Firearms Friday. We're ready to jump into this and get things going on. The phone lines are open right now at 907-433-3150. Powered by our friends over there at Satellite West. You can find them at satellitewest.com. They've got all the technology you need to stay connected no matter wherever you are in the state. They've got it, including this new Motorola product, which is awesome, which I'm going to talk about here in the near future. It is fan freaking tastic, man. Fantastic. Okay, so the phone lines are open again, 907-433-3150. You can talk about anything you want. Oh, I want to remind you, too, that if you're listening to me right now, that starting at 8 a.m., we will also be doing the Alaska radio auction. Right after the show this morning, we go live across the rest of the state, Anchorage, Fairbanks, etc., with the holiday radio auction. Your chance to save huge money on items from all over the state. In fact, if you go to alaskaradioauction.com right now, you can see all the items. There's nothing in stock because they don't put the stock in until we start the auction. But you can see all the different items from restaurants to hotels to power equipment, fireplaces, all different kinds of things that are available out there. All of it for pennies on the dollar. There's a snow plow in Fairbanks. I know they got a little motorcycle bike thing. They got again the fireplaces and restaurant certificates. Just all kinds of stuff. They make great stocking stuffers, and it's a great way to see what's going on. All right, we're going to be doing that at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. this morning. We'll be kicking things off. So 8:04. I guess there's commercial. There's news at the top of the hour. So it'll be 8:04 a.m. this morning. Right after the show, it'll be another 2 hours of me doing more fun stuff, talking about all the different things that are available out there. So we're gonna get it. We're gonna get into that. It's gonna be fan-freaking-tastic. Okay, what were the other stories that we were going to talk about? The trace accidentally shows how little the Brady bill actually did, and this goes again back into the statistics that we talked about. We're going to talk about Dr. John Lott's story as well, his latest piece over at America's First Freedom, where he talks about how you can't really trust a lot of the data that the FBI is putting out there because it's wrong, and they refuse to correct it. Also, we'll talk about the new Go Safe Act, which is the brand new, they say it's not an assault weapons ban, and that's why they think it's going to pass. But it's worse than an assault weapons ban because Go Safe stands for Gas-Operated Semi-Automatic Firearms Exclusion Act. They've always got to make up a name. Patriot, Go Safe, TARP, whatever. And anything that is gas-operated means, any semi-automatic firearm. So we're going to talk about that as well. Meanwhile, let's go over to the phones and see what you guys have to say. And we'll since we got a phone call, we'll start off over there and see what things are happening. Maybe it'll make our Friday better, right? The non-technical Friday. Let's go over here and see what you have to say. Good morning. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Michael. This is Tom from Kasilov. How are you today?
Tom, I'm doing okay, my friend. It's Friday. I mean, we get to talk about guns. Got a little technical thing going on, but I mean, other than that, it's the weekend. It's Friday. It's the auction. I'm ready. I'm in the holiday spirit. How about you?
I'm very much in that. Side note, we just bought a new air fryer last night, and it came with a rotisserie in it. And oh my God, the chicken that came out, it was unbelievable. It said maximum 3-pound chicken, and we bought a 5-pounder, and I tied it up, and I made it a 3-pound chicken, stuffed it in.
That's how I do it. Every
Couldn't
time we
have
do,
been any better,
every time
like,
we do the
better than the
turkey,
Costco chicken.
yeah.
Anyway, that's not
Every
what I'm
every
calling
time
for.
we do a turkey, you know,
Cool.
I got a big Nesco roaster, you know, and it's like my wife's like, well, don't get a turkey that's more than 20 pounds because, you know, and then I'll come home with a 24-pound turkey, and I'll be like, I will make that thing
Yeah.
fit. Nobody wants to eat the wings anyway, so the wings will be
Oh,
burned on the outside, but the rest of it will be delicious.
oh, it was unbelievable. It had this glaze on it. We just put some salt and pepper on it, and it was phenomenal. It had this glaze that just kind of wrapped around the strings that had probably 5 feet of string tying this thing together, and it was absolutely awesome. So anyway, I'm from California. I have a dark past down there, right? And I was talking to my buddy the other day. We've known him for probably 25 years down there, and he went to buy some ammunition. And they have their new ammunition law where you have to get a permit, you have to get background check to buy ammunition. So he went through all that. And he went into the store, went into a Sportsman's Warehouse to buy ammo and some 45, and he was denied. And he goes, "What do you mean I'm denied?" Here's my card. He says, "Well, apparently you don't have a 45." He goes, "Excuse me?" He goes, "Well, you don't have a 45, so you can't buy that ammo." He goes, "Well, how do you know I don't own a 45?" "Because it says it right here. You don't own a 45." And we've been trying to figure out how they know he doesn't own a 5, because he's about 10 years younger than me, and he's from the day of the pre-paperwork.
Right.
Walked into Montgomery Wards and bought your 45.
Right.
And apparently somehow they're doing the records, and they're keeping, when you go buy a new gun and you fill out the right paperwork and then they hand you your gun, that paperwork's supposed to stay in the store, not go into any registration. Apparently it's going into a registration. The stores are tapping into that registration, and you can't buy anything that you don't own. Any ammo
for guns you don't have, that they don't have record of you having. Well, I guess here's first of all, here's my first question. Why in the hell would anybody live in California? I mean, for that reason alone. I mean, let alone everything else, the taxation, the madness, and everything else. Why?
I grabbed my black guns and ran.
Yeah, no, I mean that makes total sense.
Right. It's insane. And the guy's answer to that is just some punk at Sportsman's. His answer to that was, "Well, I guess you should go register your gun."
Yeah, of course it was. That was his answer. Go register your gun. Yeah, I think your friend needs to take a trip over to Arizona or Nevada. I think is what needs to happen, and pick up some stuff.
Oh,
and
you want to hear that? You want to hear that story?
Oh, absolutely.
I got another friend who went to the Nevada gun show.
Yeah.
And he was coming back, and there's been forever. I was a kid, I can still remember being there. There's a fruit stand check station when you come back in on Highway 80 there, and they stop you to make sure you don't have fruit to cross between Nevada and California. And this guy's friend stopped. They checked him. They said, "I don't have any fruit." And the guy goes, "Well, why don't you wait right here for a bit?" And about 15 minutes later, he just said, "Screw this shit," and he just drove on. Well, he's 10 minutes down the road, and the CHP pulls him over and says, "Why did you leave the check stand?" He says, "Well, the guy wasn't coming out. I don't have any fruit. I'm wasting my time here." And the CHP says, "Well, we have record that you were at the Nevada gun show. Do you have any ammunition? Any guns that you want to talk about?"
Wow.
So apparently they're in the parking lot looking at California license plates and stopping people at the fruit stand to see what they bought at the gun show.
I gotta say, I mean, first of all, the idea that somehow they've got a fruit stand where they're going to check to make sure you don't bring fruit from one state to another. First of all, I just got to scratch my head to that. Yeah. Second of all, the chilling effect that the California is
been there for.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that California has got people in Nevada at a gun show monitoring private citizens doing lawful activities is insane.
Yep. It's communism is what it is. Flat out communism.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm out. But yeah, they're tracking your gun. My daughter lives in Hawaii, and I talked to her boyfriend over there about their gun laws, and they're just as bad as California, but they're not that bad. He says, no, I can go buy whatever I want. We go out to the gun range, and I buy ammunition all the time for other buddies' guns so we can shoot them. And he says we don't even have that problem. So I think California might take the first place. First place worst state.
Yeah, first place worst state. I mean, that's the, I'm with you on that. That would be it. But you did the right thing, my friend.
Yeah.
You got out while the getting was good. And that's why I keep asking my friends like Chris Chang, why do you stay there? Why? Why would you put up with that? Well, somebody's got to fight it. Well, I'm definitely not going to fight that because I would be in prison. Some guy pulled me over for checking to see if I had bananas in the car from Nevada going into. I would punch somebody in the face over that. That would be insane. It's a freaking fruit.
I'm 63 years old, and I remember that fruit check stand being there when I was like, in my teens. We'd go skiing up in Tahoe, and then we'd head to Nevada to the desert and shoot guns and stuff like that. And that fruit stand's been there forever.
Yeah, that's insane.
Never understood.
Yeah, that's insane. But again, on top of the fact that
some little fruit bug can fly over this imaginary line between the mountains and know where it is.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and the fact that, again, that they were paying people to sit around in parking lots and take pictures of people's license plates. Man, that is police state.
It had to do with law enforcement. I got an echo here, Michael.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
I mean, because it went straight to the California Highway Patrol, and they're the ones that pulled them over.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate you calling in. It's good to hear from you. Have a Merry Christmas if we don't talk again, but I appreciate you calling in this morning. Thank you so much. Folks, we got more coming up. The Michael Duke Show continues. Hour 2 is dead ahead. Common sense, liberty-based, free thinking radio. Wow. I mean, oh, man. And then Jeannie tells me that California had revenue agents sitting in the Reno Cabela's watching California plates leave the parking lot. They would get contacted at the border and have to declare their ammo and write a check for the tax to the state of California. Yeah. Why would you ever want to live in California? I mean, sure, Disneyland, Hollywood, whatever it is. There's, great place to go visit or see something. I mean, maybe, kind of. I mean, all the pictures I'm seeing of places like Los Angeles and San Francisco right now doesn't make it like it's a place that I wanted to go, right? It's not a place that I wanted to go for sure. But holy cow. I mean, that is some Gestapo-like police state tactics. Fruit stands. 50 years ago, he said, when he was a teenager. Wow. That's I'm flabbergasted. That was great. I will take my dangerous freedom over safe communism every day of the week, says Armed in AK. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Denise says she remembers going through it when she was like 5 or 6 because my dad, if we did settle down, he was, I remember going through this when I was 5 or 6 because my dad said if we didn't settle down, he was going to tell them we were a bunch of oranges and let them take us. I mean, really? Just no fruit. Just no fruit. But the fact that they were using it as a trap to pull people who'd gone to a gun show. What kind of American do you have to be to justify that in your mind when you're doing that job? I'm going to go to another state. I'm going to follow a lawful citizen to another state. I'm not going to follow them. I guess I'm just going to show up at the parking lot, and I'm going to snap pictures, and I'm going to assume that because their license plates, they are using it. Right. We're using past tense. It's they are using it still. I mean, that they would go to another state, park outside of a facility or an event area, take pictures of everybody's license plates, and just fundamentally assume that they purchased something or did something or what. Maybe people just went to the gun show to see the gun show. Maybe they did buy ammo. I don't know. What kind of person is okay with that kind of behavior? I mean, I'd be like, nope, sorry, Sarge, not doing that. That's an invasion of, and a presumption of, I don't even want to think about this because this is really pissing me off. This is that's getting my blood pressure up. That they would go to a place, snap photos of the license plates, and then wait lay in waiting for you at the border for you to cross the border. Pretty sure, says Armed. So pretty sure that meets the definition of stalking. Yeah, I would think so. Barb says, isn't that a violation of interstate commerce? I don't know. I would, But the fact that there's their presumption of guilt and that they're actually actively trolling for people out there, they're fishing for issues. Instead of going after real crime, they're fishing for issues on this and trapping you at the border. Wow. That is, wow. Two ways from Nevada into California without bug stations. Highway 6 from Fallon, Nevada to Bishop, California, and a road I don't remember from Las Vegas. I'm shocked that is going on. That's some crazy stuff right there, baby. Some crazy stuff. Oh, Newsom is out there trying to make his press for president. It's that'll be interesting to watch. Okay, we got one line on hold. Let's go out there and get their name while we have them on the phone real quick before we jump back onto the radio and see if we can make hour 2 run a little smoother than hour 1. Good morning. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
This is Vladimir from the People's Republic of China.
Hello. Hold on. All right, hold on. It's Brian from the People's Republic of the Fish Hook. So hold on a second, Brian. I'm going to put you back on hold. I want to talk to you on the air because I enjoy that. I enjoy talking with listeners on the air. So hold on the line a second. I think Brian might be as frazzled as I am this morning about I cannot wrap my brain around it, man. Who would think that was moral, ethical, let alone legal or constitutional? We're going to follow them into another state, take pictures of their license plate, and then entrap them when they come back. Or they don't even know any. They just randomly, they show up there and then they flag the license plates on the way back. So what, the CHP at the border has a list of license plates that when they come back through, that's what they check? Man, I weep for this country sometimes. I absolutely weep for this country. All right, Brian's on the line. We're going to be right back. Don't go anywhere. The Michael Duke Show.
Whoa, buddy. Put that thing back in its holster. We haven't gone anywhere.
I don't understand.
Check out the MichaelDukesShow.com for information on how to get access to the podcast.
The Michael Duke Show.
I have 2 guns, one for each of you.
Firearms Friday.
As Thomas Jefferson stated, it is the right and duty of the people to be at all times armed.
Say hello to my little friend.
I say that the Second Amendment is, in order of importance, the First Amendment. The right to keep and bear arms is the one right that allows rights to exist at all.
The Michael Duke Show. The right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Firearms
From my cold, dead hands.
Friday.
Take my rifle, this is my gun. This is for fighting, this is for fun.
Firearms Friday.
Firearms Friday, your chance to sound off on 2A nature stuff all throughout the day. On Friday, it's Gun Day. We talk about firearms, the Second Amendment, gun rights, stories, history, and the madness that is America right now. This California thing, I'm just my head just exploded during the break as I continued to think and talk about what Tom talked about in California. Just the insanity of that. The fact that the California authorities in California, the police, the CHP, whoever it is, would actually travel to another place like Nevada or Arizona, take pictures of people's license plates in the parking lots of, Sportsman's Warehouse or Cabela's or a gun show, and then stop them at the border and check. I mean, that papers, please. You'll show me the papers if it would take you to the train, which would take you to the camp. That's what it sounds like to me. I mean, that's just nuts. Anyway, phone lines are open today, 907-433-3150 for a little gun talk. Brian is calling in from the deep inside the People's Republic of Wasilla, talking to us this morning. Vladimir, what's happening, my friend? What's going on?
It's dark, but I'm upright and I'm not crying, so that's a plus.
That's a plus.
Hey, I just had kind of an anecdote along with what the Kenai, or the caller just said. I was driving from Las Vegas with a truck. I was going down in the Orange County area to a warehouse to pick up a bunch of records. I hit the agricultural checkpoint, and I knew at that point, like I'd seen those before and I'd been through those before, so it didn't surprise me in the least. And a little bit further along, I get pulled over at another checkpoint. This one was by immigration, looking for illegals. On the way back out with a truckload of records, I'm coming out of Southern California. I get pulled over a third time, or a checkpoint, this time by the DEA. And they keep asking me what's in the back of the truck, and I just said records. And DEA wanted to look, but they had the dogs and the whole bit. And it was just flat out frightening, the power of the state, especially California. I think the longer I looked at sort of California from the outside, I realized that just how powerful the various special interests are in that state. I mean, it is the quintessential socialist empire. You've got a very small cobble of well-heeled people who have the ears of the state. They create regulatory capture. And
right.
You see that. You're seeing that here, too. Not quite as much, but it's coming. So, anyway, yeah.
No, I mean,
ungovernable, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, the fact that and people have become almost inured to it. That's the other thing. The random DUI checkpoints, and then the ICE, being within 100 miles of the border, they can set up a checkpoint anywhere. And now these fruit inspections and the gun inspect. You're right. I mean, in most normal people are like, okay, well, that's just the way it is. Instead of being incensed like you or I would be, like, this is a free country. You are presuming my guilt. You are trying to entrap me. You're doing all these other things. And again, which employee looks at this and goes, oh, this is a great use of my time. This is a great idea. I'll drive to another state and take photographs of people's life. How creepy is that, my friend?
Oh, there are reports of California revenue agents, what are their their IRS type agency. In other states, hassling people, armed agents from California hassling people for not having paid taxes, or claiming that there's like they still own property, or they still have a business there, or for some reason some piece of paper didn't get processed, and they will show up at the door. And this happened to a number of people in Las Vegas, some in Phoenix, a few in Dallas, where California has actually sent armed revenue agents to attempt to arrest these people and strong arm them into paying taxes. Why the local authorities put up with the stuff, I have no clue.
Yeah.
But they do it.
Yeah.
And I certainly hope that the state of Alaska will have the courage to put these, to stand up to something like that and put those agents in jail for violating their open constitution and operating under the color of law.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they should. The local law enforcement.
That's a bunch.
Yeah, local law enforcement should be pushing back if a California revenue agent team showed up and said, we're going to execute, or we're going to do this, we're going to arrest. I mean, I would hope that the local PDs and the state troopers would basically say, nope, sorry, no jurisdiction, have a nice day, and send them packing. I mean, and of course,
they'll help you hide the bodies.
Yeah, well, and the latest thing is out of California is now, because they've had such a mass exodus, now they're instituting a tax to leave. Like if you leave California, you have to pay they're talking about creating some kind of special excise tax for when you leave, and if you don't pay it, it's like you can't leave. I'm like, what? You're holding us hostage? We're hostages in our own state. We can't leave on our own? Oh man. That's insanity.
It's for the common good, man.
Yeah.
It's for the common good.
Yeah.
Because we can't live California. You don't give us the revenue, we can't feed all of our people and give them all the benefits.
All right, Brian. Thank you, my friend. It's good to talk with you. Thanks so much for calling in. Let's go over to the next call, see what you have to say. Good morning. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Well, good morning, Michael. This is Larry up in the North Pole, Fairbanks area.
Hello, Larry. What's on your mind, sir?
Yeah. Well, one thing that I didn't catch all of it because I knocked the pan off the counter this morning and it rattled and I couldn't hear exactly what. But the guy on the radio before you, Doug Steffens, was talking something about a yellow flag law or something in Massachusetts or somewhere up there and I didn't catch all of it, but what's with this yellow flag thing that they've got up there? You have any idea?
Yeah, the yellow flag law is in reference to Maine. Maine, of course, where that shooting took place up there, they don't have a red flag law. They have a yellow flag law. What a yellow flag law is essentially is that it's a red flag law that is slightly less onerous, it has more due process in it. But essentially, it's Maine's version of a red flag law. They call it a yellow flag law. But it does offer more due process for people and some other things. So that's what that is. It's like a red flag law, only not quite as bad, I guess, is the best way to describe it.
Well, he indicated that they were inundated with phone calls from all kind of, I'm going to say, scaredy cat people. And he said they were, and then Doug Steffens says, well, good, pass more of them. Well, I'm paraphrasing, but that's the gist I got from his conversation.
Yeah, that's Doug Steffens' take on things, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, the other thing I was going to mention was on the 16th and the 17th up here in Fairbanks, the Shoppers Forum's having their holiday gun show thing going on at the Shoppers Forum there on Airport Road.
Okay.
Fairbanks here. Another Christmas gun show.
Okay. Well, hey,
but let the people know and let them stock up on their ammunition or whatever they might want.
All right, Larry. Well, we'll let them know. 16th and 17th of December over at the old Gottschalk's building there, Lamont's building. on Airport Way. All right, Larry, thank you for your call. I appreciate you. Appreciate you sounding off this morning. Merry Christmas to you. Let's go over here to the phones. Good morning. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Mike. It's Fred. How you been?
Hello, my friend. How are you doing? How's Rhode Island today?
It's still in existence. I don't know how, but it is. Anyway, reason I'm calling. This whole thing about California. I mean, California. They went off the rails a long time ago, and Newsom is he's a hardcore socialist, as we all know, and he's pushing this crap that they're especially against law-abiding conservatives. Primarily, if you had to put a gun owner liberal and a gun owner conservative on the stage and say which one's the bad one, which one do you think they're going to pick in California?
Well, I think we know that. I think that's a rhetorical question, Fred.
I think that's quite obvious. But then again, this is the reason. This is their plan. This is their whole scheme in the socialist remaking of America, which is crap. This is nothing more. And realistically, it's nothing more than follow the buck, follow the dollar. So this is what they're after. If you look at it, you got Soros and his punk kid, and Bloomberg, and a host of others, Gates, and a host of others, who just want to transform this into like some kind of a social cesspool third world. And it's all for the dollar. It's all for the dollar in their pocket and out of yours, along with your rights. This is nothing but garbage. If it were up to me, if I were a California citizen, I think I'd go to the Arizona gun show and I'd be looking for people who are taking pictures of the people's license plates from California and strongly advise them it's in their best interest to get the hell off the property like right now. Because we put up with this nonsense and it's only going to get worse. And I just send them packing. Get out of here now if you really want to take care of yourself, because this is a bad idea. And we know what you're up to. We're not going to put up with it.
I mean, I think I think that standing up to authority in that way, and asserting your rights and telling them that what they're doing is wrong is definitely probably a good thing. If I was running a gun show in Nevada and found out that was going on, I think I would be making an announcement in the parking lot, or in the all call overhead, every hour, just so that if you're from California, that there's people from the California Department of whatever. That are out in the parking lot taking pictures of license plates, or, I would just tell people. That's the thing. You just got to shine the light on this stuff. If people don't know and they hear these stories and they're shocked, they just got to know that this is the kind of behavior that these organizations are putting on, and maybe shining a light on it would help a bit. I don't know. Maybe not.
Well, first of all, they have no business in another state. If they want to do that in California, the open swill pit that it is today, thanks to Newsom and his crowd of liberals and progressives who really screwed the whole state up royally with their with their social nonsense. If they want to do that in California, that's their business. However, you go to another state, you have no authority whatsoever. It's about as underhanded you can get. And I think it's time that people are going to really, step up to the plate and say, if I'm protecting my rights, I'm enforcing my rights under the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, and you violate them, well, it's going to be on you. And we're going to see to it that you understand that perfectly.
Yeah.
Really. I think it's time. It's no more. I think it's definitely time to stand up and say, we've had enough.
Yeah.
We've had enough of this nonsense. If you don't come around and start appreciating the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and people's rights, well, you know what? It's going to be a tough day for you.
Yeah.
I'm not inciting violence. I'm just saying stand up for what you believe in. Stand up for your rights.
Yeah. Well, a lot of times,
if you don't do it, you're going to take them away. And you can't be a spectator in politics. Because, there are no spectators in politics.
Right.
Right.
Like I said, confronting them, shining the light on it, telling people about it, letting people know that's what's going on. I think that would go a long way to do it. I think people just don't know. They're but I don't think these guys from California, I mean, obviously the people in Nevada or whatever state they're operating in, somebody's got to know that they're there, right? I mean, you just can't wander into another state and start trying to throw your weight around. So there's got to be some interagency stuff going on there as well. So if you lived in that state, you should be talking to your state folks.
They're not really throwing their weight around. They're spies. They go out there and they collect the information, and they pass it on to the authorities in California, and here's wait for them at they call these fruit stand inspection stations, And first of all, that alone, I mean, it's NOYV, really. And when it comes to what you're carrying, if they're looking for fruit to keep the insects out of California, that's one thing. I can understand that. There's $1 billion industry, and of course the wrong creatures get into the state from somewhere else, so it could be billions of dollars worth of damage. That's understandable. But that's as far as it goes. That's the beginning and the end of it right there. Anything else, NOYB. You know what that means.
Yeah, I know what it means. All right. Thanks, Fred, thanks for coming on board. Merry Christmas to you. We'll talk to you again soon, okay? Thanks for calling in.
Very good. You take care, Mike. Have a good week.
All right, folks, we're up against the break. We got more coming up. The Michael Duke Show continues. Common sense, liberty-based, free thinking radio. Phone lines are still open if you want to call in, 907-433-3150. If you've got a California horror story, well, I'd love to hear that now, because now I'm all about this. I had other things to talk about, but this is just, my brain is just ticking over like a million miles an hour on this. We got more coming up. Hour 2 continues. Willie Waffle at the end of the show. The Michael Duke Show, Common Sense Radio.
If you missed the show, you can listen to it on your time with Dukes On Demand. Oh, and it's free. Like America used to be. Streaming live every weekday morning on Facebook Live and MichaelDukesShow.com.
Okay, let me go back to the chat room to see what's going on. I learned last night that California has a poop map app. Is that to warn you where the poop is? Is that to tell you where to go to poop? I mean, what exactly does that mean? What exactly does that mean? And it was a 29 Palms study. Jim asks in the chat room, was it the 16 or 18 Palm study that showed there were plenty of soldiers that would take civilian weapons? That was a 29 Palms. That was a doctoral paper that was being written by a Marine, and he did a survey at 29 Palms, the Marine Naval Air Station there, that asked the question: is if you were given an order by if you were given an order by a superior. And I can't remember if at the time it was also part of the paper also talked about foreign control of national troops, like if the UN came in and said that they were taking up, but I can't remember if that was part of this or not. But basically it was a questionnaire of troops and said, if you were given an order to seize the firearms from private citizens, what would your response be? I mean, the good news is that something like 74% of them said no, not just no, but hell no. But the bad news is that 26% of them said yes. Yes. That would be they would take them. And that was a 29 Palm study that Jim's talking about. Jeannie says there are notices inside Cabela's. And I'm assuming, Jeannie, maybe you can clarify, but I'm assuming you mean that there were notices inside Cabela's that says if you're buying something here, or thing, that you could be under surveillance from California, or that you could be stopped at the border, or, I mean, what do the notices say? I'm curious as to what that all means. Brian continues and says, this is an area where snitches would excel. Look at how the Stasi functions. California learned well. The Stasi, of course, is the East German special police, the secret police in East Germany. That's what the Stasi. All right. Boof. Man, all of a sudden my screen just started just going great. It warns the poop map. The poop map in California warns you where not to walk in San Francisco, where there is poop on the streets. The fact that they have to have a map, and the fact that San Francisco looks like a third world country. I mean, there's tons of pictures. When you get off of the train and the from the airport and all that stuff, and you walk out there, it looks like freaking Mogadishu, right? And then, of course, until Xi Jinping was coming for the Asian Pacific Economic Summit, whatever it was, then they cleaned up all the streets, put up barriers to keep the homeless out, did all that around this cordoned area around the middle of downtown San Francisco. People there are pissed. They're like, you're going to do this for some communist dictator and you couldn't have done it for us, the taxpayers? Oh, well, you just don't understand. We just got, whatever. Is it true that Juneau has a new rainbow crosswalk? Yes. I mean, Juneau is loud and proud. They're out and they're proud, and they love being the gayest city in Alaska or the whatever. Yeah. I mean, they've got a rainbow crosswalk. Good for them. Virtue signaling at its best. Go ahead and virtue signal. That'll be fine. The notices warn Californians of their responsibility to declare ammunition at the border. That's what the signs in Cabela says. Whew. Yeah. Well, there you go. All right. We got more coming up. Let's get to it. The Michael Duke Show, Common Sense Radio.
What the hell is an assault weapon? Does that mean that if we hurt your feelings, you should consider the Michael Dukes Show assault radio? Okay, we can accept that. Here's Michael Dukes. Kind of a dick, but somewhat funny.
What? Wait, I'm kind of a... Man, I paid you for that. What are you talking about? All right. Welcome back to the program. It is the Michael Duke Show. It is Firearms Friday. Phone lines are open. We're getting all kinds of talk. We're getting all kinds of talk here in the chat room about California and stories about what's going on down there, and is insane. It's gotten so bad in California that Donna says that they have created a poop map app in California. And I was like, poop map app? You mean like where bathrooms are, where you can go? No. This is a map app for your phone when you're in San Francisco or wherever in California to advise you of where there is poop all over the streets and not to go. These are the no-go zones. These are the toxic hazard waste zones where there is human excrement smeared all over the street. Don't walk here. They have an app for that. This is the place that you want to live? Not to mention the fact that, San Francisco, again, it was just saying during the break, I was watching some video the other day of a guy from California on YouTube called Decoy Voice. If you haven't watched this stuff, it's fantastic. But he goes into this quite frequently. He's got video of, you coming up the escalator from the tram or from the subway from the airport or whatever. So when you arrive in downtown San Francisco, and you come up this escalator and it looks like Mogadishu. I mean, it's trashed. It's just crazy. Except over the last few weeks, California has come in and cracked down on this few square block area around the center of San Francisco, and they've cleaned it all up. They power washed it. They put up barricades. They did everything else. Why? Well, because Xi Jinping was coming to town for the Asian Economic Whatever Forum. And you can't have a communist dictator seeing poop on the streets and homeless people. You have to clean all that up. And the people were like, well, wait, we live here. We pay taxes. Why haven't you done this before? Oh, well, it's all part of our master plan of you just don't understand. Sit down and shut up. Man, that's crazy, you know. Let's I got another story here, but let's go over to the phone. Since there's another phone call, we'll give them priority and see what they have to say. Good morning. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Michael. This is Ron in North Pole.
Hello, sir.
Your previous callers kind of triggered something, complacency. And I think because we reside where we do, we are a little complacent about what may be going on in other places. And it was a great wake-up call to hear from those folks.
I would not disagree with that. I mean, it's, we have it pretty free and easy here in the state of Alaska. I mean, we've got, this is the land of firearms and, everybody, and it's shocking sometimes to think about that they have, checkpoints for fruit and checkpoints for this, and they'll go to another state to follow you around and watch you and do all this kind of stuff. I will say that I was triggered this morning by that. I was shocked, and my brain just going a million miles an hour over the ramifications of that people somehow think that that's okay. And that the people, not just the people who are doing the job, the fact that they think it's okay shows me, tell me you're an authoritarian without telling me you're an authoritarian. But on the other hand, it also shows me that the people who put up with it have become complacent. You're 100% right. Complacency is the name of the game in this regard.
Well, and I would say we're only a baby step away from the old phraseology, papers, please.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I mean, and we're already seeing that, right? I mean, this is what ICE has been doing more and more over the last 10, 12 years is they're doing these, what do they call them? Inland checkpoints, where they can now set up immigration checkpoints anywhere within 100 miles of a border.
Well, there are a multitude of videos concerning that very subject that are just frightening.
Yeah. I mean, it's frightening. Don't you dare assert your rights in those zones, because they will. I mean, I've seen some of those videos, and they are terrifying. They are, there's nothing. I'm not afraid of much, but I will tell you that I am afraid of the unfettered power of our government and the bureaucrats who are part of it, because they got deep, deep pockets, and they will screw you right through the floor. They will bury you under the jail if they want to. And that kind of power is terrifying.
Well taken.
Yeah.
I'll let you go with that and let other callers get in. Have a great day and a great weekend, Michael.
I appreciate it. Thanks, Ron. Hey, did you put a recipe up on the recipe page yet? I just want to know.
Oh, that's not my department.
Well, you got to rope her in. You got to rope her in to help you, man. Come on, just you want to get that delicious bag of beard curler coffee in the coffee mug, don't you? So,
well, perhaps I'll ask my wife about her Chex Mix recipe. It's pretty good.
All right. Well, I do love me some good Chex Mix recipe, especially when it's heavy on the Worcestershire. Ooh, man, that's some good stuff right there for sure. All right, Ron. Well, thanks for calling.
You have a great day.
Thanks for calling in. Merry Christmas to you. All right. that brings us. That leaves all four lines open. All four lines are open now if you want to sound off and get things done. I'm sorry. I'm stuck on this California thing. I really am. But Ron is not wrong. Ron is not wrong. It's apathy in many ways, because it's not just the fact that these bureaucrats with guns are out there doing these things, that they should know better, that they should know that that's not, that's anti-American. That's anti-constitutional. It's the fact that people have become so complacent and so compliant. I understand the feeling, because like I said, nothing scares me more than a government bureaucrat with a gun. But at the same time, if we don't stand up for our rights, first of all, we have to understand our rights. If we don't stand up for our rights and we don't push back, then everybody just goes along to get along. And that's how mission creep happens. And that's how we get these things like these inland checkpoints, these inland border checkpoints that are happening 100 miles away from the border, where they're stopping everybody on the highway and demanding to search your vehicle and everything else. I mean, it's spooky as hell, folks. That's what it is. I'm so glad that we live here, because I just don't know how I would deal with that in a place like California, Arizona, Nevada, wherever. I don't know how I would deal with that. I'd be a little upset. Okay, we're coming up on the break. I got to go. I got one line on hold. We'll talk to them here in a minute. Willie Waffle's up next. The Michael Duke Show, Common Sense Radio.
Streaming live every weekday morning on Facebook Live and MichaelDukesShow.com.
Okay, we're in the break right now. I got one line on hold. Let's go over to them, and we got Willie coming up here in just a second. So let's see what the caller has to say, and we'll get started over there. Good morning. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hey, Michael. This is Steven. I'm from Kasilof.
Hey, Steven, what's on your mind, my friend? What's going on today?
Hey, brother. Thank you for your show. I listen to it every morning on the way to work.
Well, I'm sorry for you. I apologize deeply from my heart.
Hey, regarding California, I moved out of that state to the great state of Alaska in 2015, and I'll never look back. One thing, I have a brother. We were at a firing range in California. This was around 2012, and my brother-in-law collects World War II firearms. And I just kind of a side note, we got to shoot the Arisaka, the K98, the Swedish Mauser, the British 303, M1 Garand. By far, I just say this, that K98 was the most accurate rifle, open sight I'd ever shot at 150 yards. It was an amazing rifle. While we were there, other people were shooting at the firing range. There was a young man that brought an AK-47 out. He was down the way a little bit, pistol grip, full magazine, and he starts shooting, just semi-automatic. Next thing you know, there is all this law enforcement. I guess the range master called it in. He got arrested on the spot, and for having too many goodies on the gun, I guess the full magazine, the pistol grip, and we watched this young man get carted off. And this was in 2012, something around then, but it was shocking. It just goes to show the how, that state's so messed up. So there you go.
No, I mean, it is scary that you can't exercise your right from once. I mean, of course, we don't know the backstory. Did he move from some other state? Did he whatever? Was it a legal gun? But at the same time, it's kind of terrifying that they'll just show up at any given moment, and pull you over. Or as in the case of the guy, the Tom that was telling the story before about being pulled over outside the fruit stand. We heard you were at the gun show. How
crazy.
Chilling is that? To all of a sudden the state knows what your movement has been over the last 2 days or whatever. How chilling would that be? I mean, that again, why would anybody live there, Steve?
Yeah, it's got, my brother-in-law still lives there. They're looking for a way out, the World War II Axis firearm collection he has is impressive. And like I said, that K98 German Mauser was fantastic at open sights. Never shot anything so accurate.
Oh, the Germans make some good firearms.
I believe it was either an 8mm, 7mm, 8mm. I forgot. But anyway.
Yeah.
I thank you, my friend. Thank you for your show.
Hey, thank you for your call, Steve. I appreciate you calling in. Thanks very much today.
Yes. Yep.
All right. Okay. Well, that how spooky is that? How actually freaking spooky is that? I watched Z's parade, says Armed in AK. It was gross. It was gross. Z insisted on clean streets. Not complacent, said Jim. It's fearfulness. It's being fearful. It's hard to deal with a gunned up Johnny Law. Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's hard to deal when, you're on the thing. I traveled to Donna says, somebody said something about vaccine papers, please. And Donna said, I traveled quite a bit during the pandemic, during COVID. The only place I had to show my COVID test papers, not the jab, but the test papers, was Alaska. Yeah, that's a deal. Deal. All right. This whole thing is just, we just don't even know. It's great. Wouldn't a tax to move out of state, this is in discussion when I said that they're considering this severance tax from California, where if you move, you have to pay a special tax to move out of California. And Patrick says, wouldn't a tax to move out of state be considered a hindrance or denial of free travel between states? Yes. Yes, I think it would. Do you think that matters? I'm asking for a friend. I mean, I don't even know. All right. Well, we're getting ready to jump into it here in just a second. Willie Waffle's calling in. I see my phone is flashing, meaning he's ready to join us. So let's get to it. Let's change the light here and make sure that we all match the beautiful sunset colors that we need. Here we go. The Michael Duke Show. Common sense, liberty-based, free thinking radio. Like and share. Here we go. Okay. Well, we're ready. One final segment here for the weekend. Willie Waffle, wafflemovies.com, gives us the rundown on everything related to the entertainment industry and all that kind of stuff. And he joins us right now. Hello, my friend. How are you doing? How's things going?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. I'm jumping into the cesspool known as Hollywood.
Yeah,
and I'm coming out with some stories
it is
for
a
you
cesspool.
people.
I know we got a lot of movies and shows to cover. So first, I guess we'll start off with my favorite story of the week, Guy Fieri. He is making the money, honey.
Oh, he's rolling in the dough, baby. He's going to be. So his contract is up,
right?
And the Food Network signed a new contract with Guy Fieri, a new $100 million that will last for the next 3 years.
$100 million for 3 years.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. You're going to get more diners, drive-ins, and dives. You're going to get Guy's grocery games. You're going to get the Tournament of Champions. I hope we get the Guy Ranch. I like the Ranch show the best, to be honest with you. But yeah, and he's going to develop new shows because, we got to pay a lot of money to get some new stuff out of you too.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
This makes him the highest paid guy on the Food Network now.
Absolutely. He has $33 million a year, $33.5 million a year. That's not a bad paycheck.
So shabby.
I'm just going to say that's not a bad paycheck when you're making $1.5-2 million a month. That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, jeepers. It blows my mind. I mean, this is where we went wrong. We should have been chefs.
I know.
We should have been
Yeah. But just put the pudgy guys on the TV screen. They can make jokes and
I think it's the only place where us pudgy guys can be on TV.
I know. I just got to come up with a new phrase other than winter chicken dinner. I mean, other than that, I'm good. Well, good for him. I'm excited for it. Food Network is still pretty fun to watch. I don't watch it very much anymore.
Yeah.
I used to watch it a lot more, but it was always fun. Absolutely always fun. Mark Cuban leaving the Shark Tank, which I've never seen a single episode of, but I know everybody always talks about it. But he's, I I think he's going to pull back for a little family time.
Well, that was the original part of the story. So, earlier this week, they announced, or at least, Mark Cuban announced that, yes, he is leaving the Shark Tank show in December, in 2025, because he wants to spend more time with his family. He's got teenage kids. He knows that time is finite. He wants to make sure that he has a lot of quality time with them before they grow up, before they go to college, before they leave the house. And then a couple days later, another story came out. The Mark Cuban is selling a majority, or is looking to sell a majority of his shares in the Dallas Mavericks to the Adelson family, which is known for casinos in Las Vegas. And people were like, wow, maybe he's really totally pulling back. Maybe he is going to try to spend more time with his family. No, take a guess why he's doing this.
Why? I have no idea. I have no idea.
Because he wants to build a new stadium in Dallas for the Mavericks, and attached to it, guess what he wants? A casino, baby. So he's going to be working more than ever before.
Jeez, at some point, I mean, look, I admire a lot of these guys, the entrepreneurs, the Elon Musks who work 60 hours a week and everything else. But I got to say, if you gave me, $5 million and said, I would work as much as I wanted to and then spend the rest of the time with my family. I mean, there's only so much you can do with money at some point, but that, I guess I don't have the drive that these guys have. So it's okay. It is okay.
Well, and it's funny, Casey, he broached that a little bit in conversations I've seen recently, where he said, listen, I know I've got more than enough money. I've got more money than really anybody should have. Like, he understands that. But, I think there is something within him that just likes that pursuit and likes that challenge. I mean, he's essentially going to try to make Dallas into a mid-country version of Las Vegas. You put casino down there. You've got the football team, the baseball team, the basketball team. There's lots of stuff you can do down there. He's trying to make Dallas into something new,
right?
And I could see the appeal to that challenge, and that's where he's going. Now, he's still going to run the basketball team, but the latest story is that maybe he's going to groom somebody from the family to take that part over as they move more into building the arena and building the casino.
All right. I guess the last thing we have, and we could go quickly on this, Taylor Swift, she's going to stream her new movie. It's still going on. I mean, she made money on the tour, all the tours, then she made money on the movie at the theater, and now she's going to make a ton of money on the streams because it's going to be everywhere, right? Amazon Prime, Apple, Vudu, Xfinity, YouTube, Google TV. I mean, it's everywhere.
Oh, yeah. And you'll be able to get it starting December 13th. Guess what day that is?
It's her birthday.
It's her birthday. It's her birthday. And she's going to celebrate it by, taking $19.89 from you people who want to rent the concert film. But don't worry, they're going to add 3 more songs, so you feel like you're getting a little something that you haven't seen before. And God love her. She's just a money machine at this point.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm sorry. And this whole idea that she's releasing it on her birthday, I'm just going to say it, that's what cult leaders do.
Yeah,
this is how they make their birthday into a celebration.
Yeah,
into some sort of holiday, some sort of important date for the gang. I'm telling you, something's going on here.
Those Swifties, as long as they're not serving Kool-Aid at the Coliseums, I guess it's okay. All right, well, let's move on to the movies, and I do want Silent Night is the one I'm really interested in. Candy Cane Lane also, but you hit me with what you got here.
Well, then let's start with one that you're interested in. Candy Cane Lane. I regret to inform you that Eddie Murphy must be hard up for money. He is just doing this one for the cash. He's got to be doing it for the cash. He's got to be broke because this thing stinks. Okay, this is like every horrible Christmas story all combined into one. All right, so he's become unemployed. He's been laid off right before Christmas. He doesn't want to tell the kids. He wants to win this big decorating contest in the neighborhood. Oh, and this year there's $100,000 prize. So now he wants it even more because he doesn't have a job. Oh, and what happens? He goes off and he makes a deal unwittingly with an evil elf who unleashes the 12 days of Christmas in real life all over his neighborhood.
Oh my God. 12 drummers drumming.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they take all the Christmas tropes, they throw them in a blender, they spin them up, and then they spit them out, essentially.
Yeah, and there are times when they want to make it sound like, oh, it's a very serious-minded piece that they're talking about modern society and the commercialism of Christmas and the crassness of it, and then it tries to get all sappy, and then it tries to get all crazy. And God love Murphy, he's doing the best he can here. He's trying to hold this thing together, but you can't hold this thing together with duct tape, man. This is like a one waffle movie.
Oof. All right. Well, I just saw it come up on the splash screen last night for my Fire Cube, and I was like, "Oh, new Eddie Murphy. Oh, maybe I'll watch that." I haven't watched an Eddie movie in a while. It said, "Okay, well, I guess I'll give it a pass. It'll be a pass movie." What do we got next?
Well, how about let's talk about Family Switch. This is another big holiday movie coming out this week. This one's on Netflix.
Yep.
And it's Jennifer Garner and Ed Helms and two kids. They're a family, and they don't appreciate each other. They think each one has it better than the other one. So one magical night, they all switch places with each other. And of course, it's on the night of the most important night of all of their lives. And they're all worried that their lives are going to fall apart because of this horrible, horrible incident. And can I just say, just because it's a holiday movie, it doesn't mean it has to be stupid.
Right.
Like why is this so stupid? I mean, like sometimes it's painfully idiotic. I mean, Ed Helms is like kooky on steroids in this movie. I mean, just all the over-the-top facial expressions, all the goofiness. I mean, it's just hard to believe that there is a planet where this is an adult male with a family and a job. Okay? And Jennifer Garner, she's trying. She's so committed. She's like the little actress that can, right? She's taking this role because she wants to feed her family, and she's hoping it'll be a big hit. And she's had a lot of good success with Netflix, and it's not going to work out. But at least it kind of gets there at some point. Like, I think it gets beyond the craziness at the beginning, and it kind of finds some sort of heart and some sort of holiday spirit. So I'm going to go 1.5 waffles.
1.5 waffles. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is like the plot of Freaky Friday with some extras in it. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. Basically, somebody said, "You remember Freaky Friday? Well, what if we multiplied it by 3? Yeah, baby. Yeah, not just the mom and the daughter, but everyone will switch places. I'll give it away. You're going to see it in the commercials. Even the baby and the dog switch places, for Lord's sake."
Oh, Lord. Okay. That's a bridge too far. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So 1.5 waffles for Family Switch. What about, I even hate to ask, Charlie Sheen in Bookie?
Yes. So Bookie is the new Chuck Lorre comedy. It's on Max, the streaming service. It's going to come out like every Thursday. They put a couple of episodes out already, and it's got Sebastian Maniscalco, the comedian, playing a bookie who's feeling the squeeze. Think about it as like The Sopranos as more of a comedy, right? So online gambling is moving in and taking over his business. He's practically a stranger to his own family. Everyone owes him money, but he's not exactly tough enough to collect it all. And in that first episode, we have just a great series of funny cameos. I mean, I wish they had done that for the second episode too, because like you mentioned, the big one, the one that they're promoting, the one that everybody is tuning in to see. Yes, Charlie Sheen has reunited with Chuck Lorre, and he plays Charlie Sheen, somebody who is working with the bookie, if you know what I mean.
If you know what I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and of course this makes total sense, and it is rife for tons of comedic potential. And I hope they bring him back later in the series, because then the second episode they drop all the cameos, and it just kind of falls into more of a blah land. So I'm kind of at 2 waffles right now. I think it's hit or miss. There's some really funny things in here. It's trying to be more of a dark comedy. I think at moments that works. I think other stuff is a little overdone. I'm at 2 waffles.
All right, and so folks who don't know, Chuck Lorre is a guy who did what, like Big Bang Theory, Two and a Half Men.
He did Big Bang Theory, 2.5 Men. He was one of the key people on the Roseanne show back in the 80s. He's also done Mike and Molly, Bob Hart's Abishola. Just a ton of comedies, of comedies over the years, and of course is most famous for the meltdown that he and Charlie Sheen had during 2.5 Men.
I still vaguely remember that. I've never ever watched the show, but I still remember that. All right, so that's the last one. That takes us on to the final one, which is the one I've been waiting for. Joel Kinnaman, who really is actually one of my favorite actors. His take on Altered Carbon was just amazing. I loved his deal on that. So it's John Woo's Silent Night.
Yeah, and this one worked so much better than I thought it would. I was actually really impressed, and maybe it helped that John Woo kind of went away from American movies for 20 years, and and his influence is seen everywhere in action movies. I mean, you can't deny it. And I think he comes back here and kind of says, "Let me show you guys how to do it, since y'all been copying me." So the whole idea is Joel Kinnaman on like Christmas Eve. He's with his kid. There's like gang shooting. He's caught in the crossfire. His son is murdered, and he gets shot through the throat and no longer can speak. And now he has decided that he's going to dedicate his life to seeking vengeance. Yeah, he's going after these people because he knows the cops ain't going to do anything, and he wants to take care of business. So he goes all Rambo, baby. He's learning martial arts. He's getting pumped up. He's learning all sorts of arms, how to deal with different firearms, best strategies, best ones to use. He is taking care of business, and yes, a lot of it will happen in slow-mo, baby.
Oh yeah, well John Woo is really an amazing director. I mean, we all love Face Off. We love the second Mission Impossible. We love, a lot of his movies. But I got to say, hearkening back to things like Hard Boiled, which is still one of the greatest action movies of all time, Chow Yun Fat and John Woo and Hong Kong cinema. It is some amazing stuff. I will watch. If he did a television commercial, I'd watch it because that's how good he is.
Well, and you get all those John Woo elements, right? The ballet-like violence, the car chases, the shootouts, and did I mention a lot of it in slow-mo? But what I think Woo brings to this film is he adds a lot more heart to it, in the sense that we see the life that this guy and his family had before this horrible, horrible tragedy. And it's woven into the movie in just ways that just blow your mind, as you just start to understand more and more that this guy is acting out of just anger and sadness, and he just wants to get revenge on the people who took everything away that he cares about. I'm at 3 waffles.
Wow.
I thought it was pretty good.
Well, I told you, Joel Kinnaman is a hell of an actor. He really is.
Yeah.
And he's always done some good stuff. All right. Thank you so much, Willie. We appreciate it. We'll see you next week, folks. We're out of time. I don't know what we're going to do Monday yet, but I'll have some better answers for you later. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself.
We've shed our terrestrial radio skin, and now we are slimy lizard internet people. It's the Michael Duke Show.